Hello, hello, hello. It is the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger, coming to you with episode number what? 2 of the midday mashup here on YouTube and Facebook. How are you guys doing? I trust you all had a beautifully blessed and wonderful weekend and that you are ready for the warmer weather. Yes, it is supposed to get close to like 70 degrees on what? Tomorrow. Let me put my microphone over here so you can hear me a little bit better. That's right. We are about to hit some record warming temperatures with daylight savings time starting on Sunday, as well as spring starting on the 20th. That's right, next Saturday. So it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, especially here in Delaware. So, how are you guys? And one question I asked you, did you have a good weekend? And in that weekend or during that weekend, did you have an opportunity to watch Coming to America with Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall, and the rest? If you did, I know you thoroughly enjoyed it because sometimes we just need to have mindless entertainment that makes us laugh. And that's what this did. I didn't have to think about it. It was just fun, fun, fun. So if you had an opportunity to watch Coming to America with Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall, James Earl Jones, I mean, it was a star-studded awesome movie. And actually, my husband and I watched it twice. I watched the premiere on a Thursday night, and then we watched the original Coming to America just to do a little comparison. So it was wonderful. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, make sure you do, especially if you like to laugh. And who doesn't need some laughter these days? So, right? So today I want to just talk about, I want to come to you really quickly because I actually have another interview for a podcast in crowd business podcast at 1 o'clock. So I want to prepare for that. And speaking of interviews, I want to shout out Lisa and DJ Bryant. They interviewed me this morning on their show as well. So I'm not sure when that exactly will be featured, but stay tuned because as soon as I know, you'll know. So again, thank you, Lisa. Thank you, DJ, for making my day start off really, really well. So let me ask you a question. Have you started your podcasting journey? Are you still thinking about starting a podcast? Because every time I wake up, I hear of a new podcast, a new podcast host, a new podcast show. And you know what? The topics are new. Sports, baseball, basketball, hockey. There are podcasts for everything. There's podcasts for pet parents. There's podcasts for people that like to, have home decor, because this is a great medium in which to share your voice, your vision, and your mission. And that's why I'm inviting you. If you haven't signed up, this coming Sunday at 6 p.m., I'm going to be facilitating the podcasting for your business or your brand presentation. I'm doing this for my sorors of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. That's going to be 6 p.m. Remember, daylight savings time, that's Sunday. So make sure you set your clock forward. So it's 6 p.m. on Sunday. Go to Eventbrite and you can check out the link. Just put in podcasting for your business or your brand. And when you do that, there'll actually be two. And that's because on Friday, the 19th, I will be doing that presentation for BrandSwan Design. So if you miss the one on Sunday evening at 6 p.m., try to catch the one on Friday at 1 p.m. because again, podcasting is a very, very powerful medium. It's one in which you can share, whether you're an educator, a motivator, a coach, a client. It doesn't matter if you're a preacher, a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant. This is a great way in which to broaden your brand and expand your exposure online. So I'm going to cover not only why you want to start a podcast, but the power of podcasting, because we know it is such an easy and convenient way in which to share content. And for your listeners, it's an easy way for them to consume your content at their leisure. And we all want to have control. We want to be able to watch what we want to watch when we want to watch it. We want to be able to read what we want to read when we want to read it. And we want to be able to listen to what it is that we want to listen to when we want to. And that is why a podcast is so very powerful. It's convenient content that can be done in bits, whether it's a 15-minute show, a 30-minute show, or a 45-minute show. You can use that platform and you can get so many ears on your content. So again, if you are a blogger, think about repurposing your content and turning it into a podcast, because with a blog, sometimes you just don't want to write more than 1,500 words. Sometimes you don't even want to write 300 words. But with a podcast, you can talk about that content. And if you're anything like me, you enjoy talking to others. You enjoy sharing content with others. So that is what is so great about the power of podcasting. And again, if you have an opportunity, make sure you head over to Eventbrite and put in podcasting for your business or your brand. And that's being facilitated by me Sunday night at 6 p.m. for Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, as well as for BrandSwan Design on Friday, the 19th at 1 p.m. So while you're thinking about podcasting, you may think there's a lot of work that goes into it. And I'm going to tell you, it's not a lot of work, but it is work. You have to put in time and effort, and you have to plan. And if you've been following me for a minute, I always say that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I don't want anyone to fail. If you're going to start a podcast, if you're going to start a blog or a website or a business, you want to make sure that you plan. And that is why every time I come out here on a Tuesday mashup, I have a free printable for you. So this week is the weekly podcast task checklist. See that? This is going to help you with, planning out your podcast for each week. Simple tabs. Your topic or your title. What is it that you want to talk about that particular week? And obviously, it's going to be based on your niche. Whatever, if you have a foodie podcast, if you have a car podcast, if you have a fashion podcast, if you have a pet podcast, whatever the case may be, you want to think of a title and a topic that you want to talk about that week. And then you want to put in some show notes. Use bullets to give you some ideas about what you want to cover. I always use bullets. I'm going to show you. I write. If it's not on an index card or on a notebook, it just doesn't get done, because that is just how I am. So use your bullets to keep you on task, to keep you, on target with what you're talking about. Your cover art. Okay. So you have cover art. You have one specific cover art for your podcast. You know what I like to do? I like to create a new graphic for each episode. Why? That way, when people are scrolling through social media feeds after you've promoted your podcast, they may get used to seeing that same graphic over and over again. And they may assume that it's the same episode, or may assume that they already heard that episode. So if you create a different graphic using Canva, you are getting people to stop and think. Stop that scroll. You want them to say, oh, that must be a new episode that I never heard before. So with each promotion of each episode, create a new cover art. And you can have that same graphic for the show, but have a different graphic for each episode. Then you want to record and you want to edit. You want to set a day. I have a day of Thursday that I love to record, whether I'm recording my podcast, Blog Your Way to a Business Profit, or the Delaware Blogger podcast. I do those on Thursdays because I want to be able to have that in my mind, in my schedule, on my calendar to say that every Thursday I'm going to record on that particular day. Then you want to have the date and time that you're going to publish your podcast. Every Wednesday at 1 for Blog Your Way to a Business Profit, or the Delaware Bloggers every Saturday at 10 a.m. So if you want to make sure you have it published, and then the biggest part is promotion. Promotion. It's easy, really, to get it out there, but to promote it so that you get more ears to it is another whole ball of wax. So that's what we're talking about today, how you really can organize so that you can optimize your podcast. And again, this is a freebie. If you're interested in this freebie or any of the other printables, which I also offer, the 7-step podcast checklist, send an email to me. Let me give you my email address so that you have that. And you can send an email to me and say, put in the title for the freebie this week is the task checklist. You see that? The weekly podcast task checklist. If you want a copy of that, put that in the subject line. If you want a copy of the multi-page 7-step podcast checklist, let me know, because this one is filled with a great information, not only from planning, step 1 to planning, choosing your topic and your niche, your name, your description, your show notes, to step 2, which is setting up, purchasing your microphone. If you're going to have a microphone such as this, perhaps you're going to need headphones. I have my headphones here that I use, and I plug them into my laptop. So you want to make sure that you have your headphones. If you're simply going to be recording with your smartphone, you want to have that, as well. And this is how actually most people start. This is how I started. So you want to make sure that you plan and purchase your equipment. And there's a lot of great equipment out there and reasonably priced on Amazon. Then you want to set up your recording. What day are you going to record? Do you have your script? Do you have everything there? Your opening, your intro, your outro. We'll talk about that as well. Editing. Are you going to use Audacity, GarageBand, or no editing at all? Step 5 in this 7-step plan is your RSS feed and hosting. Who are you going to host your podcast with? This is how your listeners are going to get those new episodes every time you publish a new one. Step 6, the launch. The launch is great. That's the day that you really boom, it's out of there. You've given birth to your podcast. And number 7, like I said, is the promotion of your podcast. That's going to take the most. So again, if you want a copy of the 7-step podcast checklist, send an email to me. There's info@ablakeenterprises.com to get that. And if you want a copy of today's weekly podcast task checklist, put that in the subject line as well. So thank you, DJ. Thank you, Lisa, very much for the interview this morning. Again, at 1 o'clock, I am going to be interviewed by Mr. Joseph Hacker of In Crowd Business Podcast. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And if you're interested in signing up for the Podcasting Your Purpose coaching session, make sure that you hit me up with that. There's my email address right there. You're going to get 4 weeks one-on-one Zoom sessions. Yeah, we can't get together, but coming soon. Blake's Booth Podcasting Studio is coming to Middletown. So that is going to be a great place for us to get together one-on-one, and you can actually do your recording there. But if we're going to do the Zoom, it's going to be here, live. I will record it. I will create that Dropbox for you. I will put in those checklists. You're going to have homework. You're going to have worksheets. You're going to have all kinds of freebies. You're going to have printables and checklists. And you know what? We're going to talk about show art, cover art, music, everything. We're going to talk about everything in those 4 weeks. So if you're interested in that, send an email to me, info@ablakeenterprises.com, and put in the subject line, Podcasting Your Purpose coaching session. You can find and follow me on all my social media platforms using the Linktree ID Dell Blogger. That's right. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube. That's right. I have a YouTube channel as well, Delaware Blogger. But I have Pinterest, my blog, my podcast. Yeah, all that's there. And if you are looking for a blogging course, yes, blogging for a profit, there's the bit.ly link. You can sign up for that as well. And remember, coming soon is Blake's Booth. That's right. I'm so excited for Blake's Booth to be hitting the scenes in Middletown. So thank you guys so very much for tuning in now, tuning in later, whatever the case may be, to the second episode of the Midday Mashup. Make sure that you put on your calendar every Tuesday at noon. I'm going to be coming back to giving you some podcasting pointers or maybe blogging bits and tips from the Delaware Blogger. That's me, the DE Diva, aka the Delaware Blogger. And until the next time, have a beautifully blessed day. Stay safe and mask up. Still got to do what you got to do to stay healthy. Bye bye.